Hello and welcome. It is my Comics Guy, and I'm bringing you my pickups of New Comic Book Day for May 8th, 2019. It was pretty light pickup week for me this week, so this should be a pretty quick video. I hope you like it. Feel free to comment in the comment section or give me a like, subscribe. I'm doing this for interaction with other comic fans, so I definitely will talk to you in the comments. So if there's anything you want to say about the pickups, anything you want to say about comics in general, hit me up in the comments, and also follow me on Instagram under my Comics Guy. Anyway, enough advertising for one video. Let's get into the new books. So my first pickup this week is Ronan Island number 3. I've been following this series since the first one. Samurais and Zombies. What can go wrong? This issue was a little slow for me. There was just kind of a lot of character building. I mean, it's only a 4-issue series, so I expect the next and final issue to be pretty action-packed. They had to learn to trust the general, the two lead characters, and one of the lead characters gets a surprise twist at the end. This series is pretty good so far. Yeah, if you like it, I would suggest picking it up from issue number 1. But it's basically, it's samurais and zombies. I mean, what could be cooler than that? Next book pickup was Conan the Barbarian number 6. I'm really liking this Conan series. You have kind of the main story in the background of Conan and the witch, along with the two weird kids. But each issue story is kind of like a self-contained Conan adventure. So it's kind of like an anthology series, but you have an overall story kind of tying everything together at the end. The stories take different place in different times in Conan's life, so it's kind of cool to see Conan in different stages. This is obviously separate from what's going on in the main Avengers book, since Conan is now also part of the main Marvel Universe at large. This issue just focuses on Conan basically being a badass. He is part of an army. He winds up being the only survivor of an ambush because of his skills. The leaders of the army don't believe him when he tells them that he was basically better than the other troops. That's why they all died and he did it. So there's some conflict there. And then it just kind of jumps back into the regular story towards the end. I mean, I'm not going to spoil the story for you. Just kind of jumps back into the witch and the two little kids at the end. And I think, at least the way that it sounds, that they're going to kind of continue on from that in the next issue. Just kind of continue with that backup story. But I don't know. I've thought that before in this run, so I could be wrong. Next issue we have is Batman Who Laughs, number 5. I picked up the B cover. Now, DC Comics has actually announced a surprise 7th issue to this series. So instead of the initial 6 issues that they promised, there's actually a 7th issue that kind of explains this issue's kind of slow. And actually, the series so far has been kind of slow. I mean, the Batman Who Laughs, they've obviously set up that he outsmarts our Batman at every corner, but he hasn't really got too involved in anything. There was one fight way back in issue number 1 or 2 that he had with Batman. So he actually kind of reminds you that he does have all the skills of Batman, along with the Joker. Our Batman, is succumbing to the Joker venom or the Joker toxin from earlier in the series. So he is slowly becoming the Batman Who Laughs. The one thing that I didn't really like about this issue was that it was just the Batman Who Laughs did everything by talking. I mean, there was a cool confrontation with the Court of Owls. And then at the end, Batman kind of finally figured out his plan. And then the Batman Who Laughs just kind of talked him into going along with his plan anyway. So, I don't know. I go between just kind of liking this story and and really liking this story. The Batman Who Laughs character looks great. He's a smart character. He's got all the combat skills, detective skills of Batman. But really, you just kind of see him more of a manipulator, which I would say is more of a Joker trait than a Batman trait. So I'd kind of like to see him get a little more involved physically. I know he kind of has his little Robins kind of do a lot of his dirty work for him. The Grim Knight didn't make any appearance in this issue, so I'm not even sure if he's going to return in this series at all. So we'll see this book. But overall, I'd rate this book a 3 out of 5. It was just okay. The announcement of the 7th issue kind of gives me, that's kind of why it's slow, I think. They just kind of had to add some filler. We'll see. Time will tell if that's just a cash grab or if it's really going to make for a better story overall. So there's 2 more issues to come out after this instead of the one that we originally were told. So we'll see what happens. I mean, I'm on for the long haul, but I'm dumb. I get anything with Batman in it. So, and probably going to start getting everything with the Batman Who Laughs. Detective Comics 1003. This is the big Detective Comics issue everybody's been waiting for. We get the reveal of who the Arkham Knight is, and it's not who anybody expected. So I'm going to probably spoil this issue right now, so if you want to skip ahead a little bit in the time, I understand. But it'll kind of spoil it, but not really. And you'll understand when I tell you who the Arkham Knight is. So I'm going to say it right now. The Arkham Knight is revealed to be a female called Astrid Arkham. Yeah, that's what the characters in the book say. At the end of the last issue, they kind of left it on a cliffhanger where the Arkham Knight revealed her. Well, we didn't know it was her at the time. Face to Damian, and this issue kind of picks up from there. She reveals her face to Damian, and Damian's kind of like, "Who are you? Am I supposed to know who you are?" And that's kind of what I felt like. Batman didn't know who she was. It's kind of a mixed bag for me as far as how I feel about the reveal. I mean, on the one hand, I kind of like that it's not just some other character who's recycled into a different persona, so to speak. But on the other hand, it's a little disappointing because it's a new character. But I mean, that's kind of cool because now we're going to get a new history of the character. It's not Jason Todd like in the video games, obviously. So we'll get a new character. Hopefully the character's cool. At least in the video games, that character was cool, and we'll see how that translates over to the comics. But it's definitely a twist, I would say, and you don't even need to wait till the end of the book. It's like in the first couple pages, so it's not really much of a spoiler at all. But yeah, so the story's good though. I'm kind of interested. I kind of like it. The interactions between Damian and Bruce Wayne are pretty interesting. I'm actually kind of surprised I'm saying this, but I kind of like Damian's growth as a character. I used to hate him way back when he was introduced to Grant Morrison's run. I couldn't stand him. It was, I don't know, I just didn't like the character. But between what's going on in this run and what Adam Glass is doing over in Teen Titans, which, by the way, if you're not reading that, you're missing out. But I don't love the character Damian Wayne yet, but it's definitely an interesting character. So, yeah, I thought I'd never say that. I got obviously the cover B. This cover has absolutely nothing to do with the story, at least so far. There's no Zatanna or Batgirl or Huntress in there. I don't even recall if Jim Gordon shows up in it. So, yeah. So this is just a cool cover. I like this better. I don't really like the Batman or the Detective A covers lately. So I've been getting all the B covers. So that's why I picked this one up. The next book, I would say this was kind of the one that everybody was kind of specking on going into the week. War of the Realms, New Agents of Atlas #1. This introduces a whole bunch of characters. there's kind of a lot going on in this issue. The issue overall was pretty good. There was kind of a cool little lesson that the characters were taught, just about different people and being a team and stuff. Man, the characters are too many to list. But the new Arrow was introduced. She's a new Chinese character. The new Filipino character, Tide was her name, was introduced. We had some old characters in here: Amadeus Cho, Silk. So the team's kind of thrown together. I don't think we've seen the team in its entirety, because some of the characters didn't even interact with each other in there. Obviously, it's a War of the Realms tie-in, so you have some of the demons taking over, well, at least invading in different parts of Asia. And it's basically, I think, setting up as Avengers in the Eastern Hemisphere. I kind of like that. I've always kind of wondered, in just my comics reading days, why does everything take place in the United States? And then when something takes place outside of the United States, why do only United States superheroes ever respond to it? So this is kind of cool. I'm glad they're kind of filling out the I'm glad they're kind of filling out the heroes around the world. I like seeing new heroes introduced. In comics, there's so many times where they just rehash old characters or just branch them off. I mean, I know we all like that. It's cool, like Into the Spider-Verse, all the different versions of Batman, things like that. Those are popular, but I like to see new characters once in a while. So I'm glad that it's not like Wolverine's kid or another Hulk. At least they're in here, but the new characters at least seem to be more original characters. We get Shang-Chi in there. Man, they introduced like 10. At least a few of them are new characters. I don't know if they're all new characters. I'm not really familiar with a lot of the characters that were introduced in this issue, but it's definitely a good issue. I mean, it's worth picking up. Spec-wise, I don't know how much long-term value this book's going to have, because Marvel doubled everybody's orders for free. So I think there's going to be a lot of this book floating around. Some of the variant covers, I think, are probably the ones that are going to be the ones to get, especially that real nice Virgin variant with Tide. I really like that cover, but it was definitely out of my price range before the issues hit. But I definitely am going to pick up issue number 2. I mean, it's Greg Pak, who's also the writer of Ronin Island. He's a great writer. World War Hulk, Planet Hulk. He's the one who wrote those, so he's a great writer. So I'm glad he's on this issue. We'll see kind of where it goes. It had some good pickups. Hopefully, after War of the Realms, it has some legs. But right now, issue 2 is going to be part of War of the Realms as well. So we'll see where this goes. Now, this is my last pickup of the week. Actually, this is my favorite pickup of the week. Eve Stranger #1. This book wasn't even on my radar going into the week. I was watching a YouTube video, and I can't remember whose it was now, but they mentioned this book, and they kind of described the premise to me, which I thought was cool. Essentially, what happens in here, Eve Stranger, the main character, wakes up and doesn't know what's going on, almost like Memento style. She's left a note to herself, kind of explaining that she needs to inject herself in a week or else she's going to die. But she finds out she has not necessarily powers, but she's really good at fighting, shooting, all kinds of stuff. She has an unlimited credit card with unlimited funds. And she does remember her father, which is kind of a key point to the story. At least they call back to it. She tells herself to remember her father. It's pretty cool. It's a 5-issue miniseries, so I can kind of see this being like a bunch of little miniseries, all kind of self-contained. What she does each week, and at the end of each week, she injects herself, and it erases her memory, and she doesn't know what's going on again. Kind of has to start all over. Like I said, it's kind of like the movie Memento, Christopher Nolan, which if you haven't seen is pretty cool. Groundhog Day, if you want to kind of go back to a funnier book or a funnier story, it also reminds me of that. But this one, yeah, so it has a main story. It was kind of weird. It had a main story, and then it had a backup story, which was kind of a funny story. I don't know how tied into the main story it is. I mean, even the letters page kind of had some they were obviously made up, but they kind of tied into the story as well. So this will be an interesting one to see. Like I said, it's a 5-issue miniseries, but man, I could totally see this one being picked up as a TV show, and each week is kind of like a season, short season or something like that. But yeah, IDW makes it, so I think it'd be a pretty good pickup. It's at least the first issue really got me hooked. I'm gonna pick up number 2 and go from there. We'll see what happens. Anyway, that's the last book on my pickups for this week. Really, not a lot of the other stuff interested me out there, so I just kind of got these today or this week. Read them all, so you have an idea of what's out there. Hey, so if there's anything you liked about this, give me a like, give me a subscribe. I plan on at least getting one video a week out for you guys. Comment in the comments. I definitely want to interact with anybody who watch this. Tell me good or bad. Tell me if there's something you don't like about the videos. Tell me if there's something you love about the videos, anything. And I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.